Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Running the Bases. I am Michael Garaffa, joined by Nick Nath and Ryan Blank. Welcome to a really great show today. We have our top 50 players of 2021 in Major League Baseball. Now, this is a show that we are doing for the second time. We did the top 50 players of 2020, which is a very interesting list. I looked back at some of them yesterday, and I was really blown away by some of the ratings we gave some of these players. But this year, wow, we had a full season, a lot more to go based off of. And let me tell you, some of the players on this top 50 are going to shock you. The top 15, I'm telling you, the top 15, it's like, wow, this is really, I'm so excited for you guys to see it because Nick and Ryan haven't seen the list at all. They just did the ratings. They don't know how everything came out. So this is their first time that they're going to be seeing the player cards, the ratings, and how that's going to go down. We were going to do it on the last day of the last show of 2021, but we have all been super busy. We were really busy the last couple of weeks of the year, so none of us had any of the ratings done until I want to say like Friday of last week. So it's been it was a very long process, but we are here. We have finally gotten all of them done, and it's our first show of 2022. So we're ringing in 2022 by ringing out 2021. I think that's a pretty good.
Which I don't know why we're doing that. I hate 2021. I just think that 2021 should die. That's all I say.
So you want to just not do the players at all? Just skip the Nick segment?
I would love to. I hate
so many second basemen.
Great. All right, Nick. 58 minutes of second baseman. Let's
I hate 2021. Right. 2021 was the worst. Had to take John Madden and Betty White to end it. Like, honestly, they can go themselves. So, I hate 2021.
See, the interesting thing is, I didn't realize this, but Betty White's birthday is a day after mine. I had no idea. They would have been having
she's January 17th.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Bro, the newspapers already had like the
they jinxed it bad.
Yeah, they jinxed it.
They did. They really
jinxed that bad.
Yeah, it's been it was a very interesting end of the year since we've been here. A lot's happened. But let's get right into it, shall we? We have, let me share my screen. Got to make sure. I set it up beforehand, so it should be ready to go. So once the first one pops up. Huh?
I swear if this doesn't work.
No, it's going to work. I tried. As soon as it pops up, Nick, you can go right into it. So it's fitting. It's fairly fitting for you that that you're getting this player because you've been a big fan of this player all year. So ready? Let's go.
Number 50. Oh, yeah, Jesse Winker. Come on.
Jesse Winker. Oh. You can continue. Sorry. I was excited about Jesse Winker.
Yeah, no, me too. The guy that came out this year, first time All-Star. Really like one of the more swaggy players in the Reds this year. Him and Castellanos were such a fun duo to watch in the outfield. But no, shout out to Winker though. I think he was literally hitting like 330, 340, like 60 games in this season. I was pretty hyped because I'm a huge batting average guy. And he was also hitting bombs too, and it was a big catalyst in that offense. And he was really consistent throughout the entire year. He fell off a little bit in terms of batting average. I think he finished with like a sub-3 batting average, but still an overall great season from him. I mean, he broke out this year in a big way, and I think he'll be a big part of the Reds' future for a couple more years now.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, I just think that when you look at a guy like Jesse Winker, someone who's really playing a situational and role player type feel for him to really branch out and play the way that he did, especially with Castellanos probably leaving, the Reds are going to need that production, and the Reds are going to need him to play like this. Yeah, he fell off kind of heavily the way that he started the season, but the season that he still had, it's good sign. It's a good sign for the Reds. Maybe they can feel a little bit more comfortable if they do end up losing Castellanos.
Yeah, and he ended up rating an 83.67, and now there were quite a few ties, as there normally are, because we're rating some really great players. The way I determined ties, instead of just having you guys go back and rate them, what I did was I went with the highest high. So whoever the highest high point total from any of us. And then if that's a tie, then we go to the highest low. And if that's a tie, then it goes to whoever I gave the highest score to. And then if that's a tie, then I just pick based on just how I feel like picking, which only happened, I think, once. So most of the time it was able to be determined by the highest high, and then the other ones, it was the highest low. But there were quite a few ties in here that I was like, goodness gracious, these are really close. So That is that. That is number 50. Now we scroll into number 49. And Ryan, that is all you.
Hey, number 49, the recently retired Buster Posey. He really had a revival of a season, and he was key in how the Giants were able to make the run that they did, dethroning the Dodgers as the top at the top of the NL West, and they gave him a hell of a series in the divisional. So, yep, I can't remember where he hit. I believe he hit 291, something like that. But he had a revival season. He was great behind the plate, and he was a key piece of how the Giants were able to get themselves back into a contending stage. They don't have to continue a rebuild. They're finally back.
Yeah, and Buster Posey got himself also an 83.67. I'm very happy that he got himself on here in his final season. I was shocked to see him on here. That was a really, really cool thing for me. So now we roll down to number 48. Nick, take it away.
Oh my God! I cannot believe he's not higher. How is he not a top 20 player? He should have been a top 20 player. Jordan Alvarez.
Well, I mean, the highest score anyone gave him was an 87. That was you. Ryan gave him an 84, and I gave him an 80. So I definitely. So also,
some of Michael's scores were really low.
They were so.
I gotta put that out there.
85%. I was lower than you guys on all of them. And Nick seemed to have the highest scores, and Ryan was the one who was typically in the middle. So keep that in mind as we go forward. There are not many where I have the highest score. I don't think there were any at all where I gave the highest score. I typically was very low. I don't know why. I was feeling very critical while I was doing this. It's like, this is a bad year for whatever reason. So yeah, continue, Nick. Sorry.
No, I mean, this guy had an unbelievable year. And you talk about his regular season. You could talk about his playoff series, too, in the ALCS against Boston. Boston fans probably still have nightmares about this man in their sleep. And I know he didn't play well in the World Series at all, but, I don't think that should hinder his amazing season that he had. He was by far and by way the best offensive player the Astros had all year. He was their main run producer, in my opinion. Had an outstanding batting average, home runs, RBIs. Overall, just one of the major catalysts for that Astros offense. And he's going to be a big part of Houston's future in the next couple of years, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last player with an 83.67, he was the winner of that three-way tie. Actually, there were 4 other players that had an 83.67 that didn't even make it because we were a little bit lower in their ratings. So Jordan Alvarez gets that number 48. Now we go to number 47, Ryan. It's fitting that you did this considering you're the one who asked for it last night. Take it away.
Yes. Last night, Michael let us pick one. And I was just like, what is the most random number I could throw? And I was just like, you know what? 47. And it is the current free agent and Braves legend, Freddy Freeman. First off, terrific picture. The man finally got his World Series, and he will soon be back in a Braves uniform. But, compared to his MVP season, he wasn't the same, but he still hit 300, had 30-plus homers, and played great baseball throughout the entire season. He was a key reason why the Braves were able to get past the hump of losing Ronald Acuna. Having that leadership, having that guy who was an MVP winner is key. And having him be able to do the things they did made it a lot easier for them to win ball games and adjust. So, Freddy Freeman, 47.
Hey, and keep in mind, 47, even though, it might seem low on this list, this is a top 50 out of, 1,000 players that played Major League Baseball this year. These are the best of the best. And that is, sometimes when you put things in a top 50, it kind of minimizes the players, that are at 48 or 49. These are number 3 hitters in every single lineup, or aces, or, top of the bullpen guys that are really doing some damage. So also, I'm not looking at the list every time I do it. So there might be some of these that I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that guy's on here. But that is an 84.33 for Freddy Freeman. He barely got himself up to over that big tie that we had. And he's in a tie with the player at number 46 who won the tiebreaker. And that will go to you, Nick.
Rafi. Man, this guy is a stud.
He was that low?
That's
Yes,
what
he
I'm
was.
saying, too.
Really?
Freeman was that low, too.
Yeah, 80. We all gave him and Freddy Freeman the exact same scores, 83, 85, 85.
Dang. Well, Rafi, another unbelievable season from him. Him and Bogart's really leading that that Boston infield pretty nicely. And, Rafi and Bogaerts, they plan to keep for the rest of, a majority of their careers at this point. We'll see what Boston does with that. But Rafi's he's an elite third baseman in this league, probably a top 5 third baseman at this point in the year. Maybe you could argue top 3 at this point too. So unbelievable year from him. The batting average, home runs, RBIs were all pretty up there for him this year too.
And it's also it's important to note that while I've been looking back, we were very generous to relievers. So there's a lot of relievers on this list. We gave relievers some very high scores, which we all did. We were all doing it for whatever reason. We were just very nice to relievers.
I do need to put out there, some of my scores will be a little bit inflated at times because I did value how they played in past years. Like if they had career years, they did get a higher score. So just want to put that out there.
Yeah, it was very interesting trying to see. I was trying to get a pattern from you guys. It seemed like, but I was just always the lowest one. All right, if we go down to 45, and I have to zoom in on all of these now, but that is back to you, Ryan.
Jonathan Loaisiga, number 45 for the Yankees. That bullpen and really that pitching staff as a whole was pretty trash this year, but he was one of the staples of that bullpen. And looking at how the Yankees operate, they just refuse to pay pitching unless it's Garrett Cole. But the ability to have someone like Loaisiga and Britton at times in that bullpen really did help get them through games because their starting pitching wasn't that good. So having him in there was key, and he pitched really well. I believe he had just over a 2 ERA. That's a really good ERA. His whip wasn't bad either. So really good season from him.
Yeah, he came in a tie with the player that is next with an 84.67. This is by a matter of one, because we went from 84.33 to 84.67. These are the smallest of margins here, but these are the best of the best. That's what you're going to get. Nick, you could take it away with number 44.
How is he number 44?
How's he this low?
Michael, I gave him a 79.
What is wrong?
Because he missed a lot of time this year.
I valued that too, but not that much.
Well, for me, I wanted to make it for all the guys that missed significant time this year. I really docked their scores because I felt like for top 50 players of the year. While yes, it's important what they did while they were healthy, I'm trying to think overall for players that had such a massive impact on the game, and what he did while he was healthy was incredible. I had to take it down because he missed so many games, but still.
Yeah, Michael just said it. What he did when he played was incredible. I'll show you these stats. He went 13-5. With a 2.37 ERA, 132 innings pitched, 185 strikeouts, a .957 WHIP, and a 5 WAR. The guy was unbelievably outstanding for the White Sox this year. They're true ace. Him and Lance Lynn were easily a top duo pitching-wise in terms of rotations this year. But Rodon was by far their best pitcher at most times and throughout the entire season, except for when he was hurt, which did hurt him a little bit, but Rodon will easily be their best pitcher next year too. And actually, no, he's a free agent right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
So hopefully he'll be looking to get the bag right now this offseason. So any team that lands him is very lucky because he was unbelievable last year.
I don't think he's gonna get that much money.
All right.
Just because 1 year and injuries. I think he's still gonna get a 3-year deal.
I'm saying any team that gets him is gonna be very lucky.
Oh, that's very true. Very true. But yeah,
I agree.
Injuries are going to hurt him.
Yeah, wouldn't be shocked if he goes to one of the New York teams. Alrighty, next up here we have number 43, and this was our first clean sweep that we had of the entire competition. We gave him an 85.
Kenley Jansen, this guy, despite all the hate that he has gotten from Dodgers fans, has been so consistent in being that top closer guy for them. And yet fans are going to say, oh, he sucks, blah, blah, blah. Then you don't understand baseball. This man consistently has a sub 2.5 ERA. Most of the time, he's sub 2.25. And he's going to have 30-plus saves. He's going to have a good whip. Any team would be lucky to have a guy like Kenley Jansen. I think the Dodgers have taken him for granted.
Well, he is a free agent now, so you never know what's going to happen. It can always change very quickly. Alrighty, next up at number 42.
Oh, Ryan Presley. Out of all the players I've done, I probably know the least about this man. but he was an instrumental part in that Astros bullpen. The Astros bullpen is pretty much locked down the entire year, honestly. I mean, they struggled from their rotation all year. Obviously their lineup was what got them to where they were, but the bullpen too is pretty solid towards the end. And guys like Ryan Presley, Yimi Garcia really stepped up in the end. So Presley will be another guy that looks to hold on that bullpen next year too.
One of the best relievers in the game this year, and he tied with Kenley Jansen, but managed to win the tiebreaker with a high score. Now we go to number 41. Ryan, take it away.
Number 41, Cedric Mullins. You know, looking at this Orioles team, there's very little to no good things about it. But one of the low bright spots, Cedric Mullins. Career year, hit 30 homers. The one thing that really took down his score for me, his RBIs were really low for how he played. So that's what dropped his score for me. But overall, he played great in the field. He was the engine of that offense. And he had a great season. So I believe that he is definitely a top 50 player. It might have should have cracked the top 40, but I think this is the range where he probably deserves.
I feel like part of the RBI thing too is because he hit leadoff a lot.
Yeah, well,
that's true.
Yeah, that was my argument last week.
When you hit 30 homers, you probably should have more than 60 RBIs.
I mean, that's what mostly more on the. I think the Orioles not getting men on base.
Oh, that's 100% on the Orioles too.
Yeah, it would be. I would be intrigued to see what he would do in on a different team this year, because I think that it's hard to look at RBIs, which is why I valued a lot his slash lines, because those were certainly very impressive. We roll down to number 40. We are cracking into the top 40. We have another Astro on the list.
Oh, I love this guy. This guy is a stud. Kyle Tucker. The Astros have been waiting for this guy to break out for years now. They knew of him. This is kind of like the reason why they let George Springer walk, in my opinion, because they knew the type of talent this guy had, and he put it on full display this entire regular season and in the playoffs too. He was one of the more consistent hitters all year. You could argue he was the most consistent hitter all year, and he had an unbelievable year. I think he hit like around the 280s, 30 home runs, upwards of 80 RBIs. Absolute great season for him. Defensively too, he showed flashes. So the Astros have a really bright future with Kyle Tucker in their hands.
Absolutely. Now we are number 39. Ryan, this is all you.
Wow, I'm shocked that we've not seen a Rays pitcher yet, especially from that bullpen. But Andrew Kittredge, the first one comes through. He had a really good year. Kind of a coming out party for him. He pitched really well. He was an instrumental part of that bullpen that just seems to have so many guys that can do a job well. It's crazy. And yet they have just a couple guys stand out every year, despite how dominant they are pitching-wise. And Kittredge was one of them.
Yeah, the Rays were a very dominant team this year. And he also tied with Kyle Tucker, but I mean, we gave him the exact same scores. So I just said, all right, well, I think Andrew Kittredge was very underrated this year, so I gave it to him. Now we move up to number 38. And boy, when I tell you the nostalgia, Nick, you are about to give everyone at the fact that this player cracked the top 50 list is really incredible.
Oh, I gave him like a really high score. No,
yeah, let's see. You gave him an 87, and Ryan gave him an 85. I gave him an 84. So not terrible, but you definitely boosted him up.
Yeah, no, this is a personal. I just have a connection to this man. I don't know. The season he had just gave me so much nostalgia because I just grew up with those old Reds teams. And if you look at the season he had 266, 36 bombs, 99 RBIs, 375 on base percentage, 563 slugging, 938 OPS. Like, he was vintage Votto this year, and it was really fun to watch. I think I remember that stretch he had where he hit a home run like 8 straight games, and it was just awesome to watch, just because he's just one of the more nicest, like, classier players in baseball, and it's really cool to see him. And the whole Reds team was just so fun to watch this year. I think we really took that for granted, but no, yeah, Votto making the top 50 list is really, really inspiring to me.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, dude, I feel like I'm living in like 2014 again. Joey Votto awesome. Is a top 50 player. This is awesome.
And
Alrighty, at number
for it too.
Oh, he really did. He was spectacular. Number 37, Ryan.
This one shocks me that he made the top 50. Not gonna lie. Sandy Alcantara did not have as good of a year as he had last year. He did not pitch as well. But yet, he is very deserving of that 5-year extension that he got. He's still a rising star in this league as a starting pitcher. He just did not have as good of a year as I expect him to have. And part of that is because of that 60-game to 162-game stretch. But overall, this is a guy that's bright. He's a bright piece of that really young core in Miami. And I think he's going to have a successful career. I think he's going to be arguably their ace, just someone that I expected to have a little bit of a better year. Had over 3, I can't remember exactly, but believe he had over a 3.5 ERA.
I'm not sure his whip was low, though, which is what really
that's
brought
what
him in.
Stage's score with me was that his whip was really, really solid.
Yeah, I ended up giving him an 85. Nick gave him an 87. Ryan, you did give him the lowest at an 84, so one of the few where Ryan was the lowest one. But yeah, he still managed to get in there, and he had the exact same as Votto, but because I gave him a higher score in that tiebreaker, he won that. And then the next one is the same exact thing. These three, we gave them all 3, it wasn't the same exact scores, but it was the same scores just from different people. So number 36, I've got to pull it up. I wasn't prepared. Here we go. Number 36, Nick, go ahead.
Oh, wow. This guy, talk about breakout years. This man, Tyler O'Neill, really was probably, we argued about this a lot too. We could argue. It was crazy is I didn't see Nolan Arenado under that Cardinals list too. Did we not?
Yeah, he didn't have the OPS.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Tyler O'Neill kind of took away that Nolan Arenado production, I guess you could say, this year, hitting 286, 34 bombs, 80 RBIs, 352 on base, 560 slugging with a 6.3 WAR, and defensively too. The WAR really inflates from him defensively too, and he had an unbelievable year. You could argue him and Goldschmidt were the catalyst for that offense. Arenado too, honestly, ended the year pretty well, but O'Neill was probably the more consistent hitter all year, and he's going to be a part of that Cardinal future for a long time.
Yeah, in order to qualify, just to let everyone know, in order to qualify for the list, you needed to have an 850 OPS or better for a hitter, and you needed to have at least 150 plate appearances. And then for pitchers, you needed to have 1.15 whip or lower and 30 innings pitched. So that was the structure. And then when I found players, I was like, this guy's not going to ever crack the list. I also took them out. But Arenado didn't. He didn't even get the OPS there. So Ryan, we flip it over again to you at number 35, a trade deadline acquisition for the Athletics, cracking into the top 50.
Andrew Chafin was really good this year. I'm surprised he's not higher. He had a sub-1, he had a sub-2 ERA, and then a really good whip. He was really good this year. And when the Athletics went in and got him, they were still on that playoff push. And getting a guy like that at the back end of your bullpen to be a setup man or a seventh-inning guy, that's the type of guy you want, especially with how he pitched. This is the best season I've seen out of Andrew Chafin ever. And he was really good this year, very deserving of being top 40.
And he's a free agent too, so he certainly is going to get some money this winter. We'll see once the lockout ends. Now we go back to number 34 and another relief pitcher. I'm adding to the long list of relievers we have on here from the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, Tyler Rogers this year was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, my roommate James is pretty funny when he comes in, though. He just does not like when he comes in. And honestly, for good reason, too. He wasn't as good in the playoffs as we think he should have been. But during the regular season, he was a completely different story. His submarine style pitching form is pretty fun to watch and can get pretty confusing for the hitter unless they obviously have seen him more than once. But in the regular season, he went 7-1. 2.2 ERA, 81 innings pitched, 55 strikeouts, was really, really instrumental in that Giants bullpen, and they're going to look to keep him as he's 31. Wow, he's pretty old. I didn't realize how old he was, but yeah 31-year-old. The Giants have definitely looked to keep him in the bullpen now for the next couple of years.
At number 33, we have a man who was instrumental to the Dodgers' success, but a big part of them not doing well in the playoffs.
Yeah, Max Muncy had a terrific season, MVP caliber season, is what some people would say, and not having him really did hurt the Dodgers in the playoffs because not having your first baseman, one of your best power hitters, it had a huge effect on them. But what really dropped Max Muncy was his batting average. He only hit 249 on the season. Mm-hmm. And I know people are you can say, oh yeah, well, Shohei only hit 257. Shohei hit 46 homers. Shohei also brings a ton of value on the mound. Max Muncy also isn't the best fielder. So I just think that what brings him down is his 249 batting average, but he had a great season and still was in that MVP race for the NL. So good season from him. He was really missed by the Dodgers in the playoffs, though.
And we've got back-to-back Dodgers here, Nick, as we will throw it over to you.
Julio. Yeah, this guy
too
was
bad
like,
Marco isn't here.
this guy was like their number 2 or 3 pitcher, and he led the league in wins. That's how demonic the Dodgers were this year. Finished with a 20-win season, 2.96 ERA, a 1.018 WHIP. And he did struggle in the playoffs a lot, and I will admit, but I don't think Dave Roberts used him right. He used him out of the bullpen a few times, try to get key with him, and he just didn't have the arm for it, and he just wasn't ready for the big stage at that moment yet. But no, he had an unbelievable regular season. I think he still will be an instrumental part about the Dodgers rotation next year too. And it's just so, as a Dodgers, I'm not a Dodgers fan at all, but if I were a Dodgers fan, I would be so comfortable with Urias pitching in any game, postseason, regular season, just because that's the type of player he is, and he's just so young too, and it's just so nice having that stability with the young player already. This is the guy that got the last out in the World Series a couple of years ago too, and so there's just so much nostalgia built up with him already. It's not even 25 yet.
Such an elite player, absolutely. Number 31, Tyler O'Neill's teammate. We had mentioned him before, but now he makes the list.
Paul Goldschmidt, one of my favorite baseball players, really ever. He had another great season. After being traded from the Diamondbacks to the Cardinals, he needed some adjusting. He had a tough time adjusting to different ballpark, different division, stuff like that. But he's really started to turn it on. He was a key piece of that team, especially during that long winning streak to get them into the playoffs. Because we've been talking about how big of a disappointment this Cardinals team was, and now look what they do. They go out and they go on a long winning streak, fueled by guys like Tyler O'Neill and Goldschmidt to get into the playoffs. So he had a great year.
And also former cover player of Running the Bases, Season 3, thanks to Ryan's great editing skills. Now we crack into the top 30. We are getting down to the best of the best here. And this is certainly a player that went very under the radar this year, but well-deserving.
Well, why wouldn't he go under the radar? He was on the Pirates.
That's true.
The only positive outlook that the Pirates got from actually him and Adam Frazier, until Adam Frazier went to San Diego and absolutely stunk it up. But
yeah,
Ryan Reynolds was by far and by way the best Pittsburgh Pirate this entire year, hitting 302, 24 bombs, 90 RBIs, 522 slugging percentage, 912 OPS. This is the entire reason why we were talking about the Pirates on the show. Reynolds was unbelievable year in, year out. We started the year so consistent, end of the year so consistent, and he's not. I don't know if he's a free agent, but he'll be remaining on the Pirates team for a couple of more years now, as he's their only bright spot, really. Him and Brian Hayes, honestly.
Yeah. Well, unless they trade Brian Reynolds, who knows?
We'll see. His value's pretty up there. He's a starting caliber outfielder at any team, honestly.
Yeah, he really is. Now at number 29, we have one that hits very close to my heart. I was shocked that he made this list. I gave him the lowest score out of everyone, and he still managed to make number 29.
Which was absurd that you gave him an 83, I believe. Because here's the thing. He did not play enough whatsoever, but what he did was incredible. I don't think you're ever going to see a pitcher again do what he did in his limited amount of innings. But at the same time, he didn't play enough. So that's why he was lower on this list than he should have been.
Yeah, I did give him an 83. Nick gave him a 90, and Ryan gave him an 86. So, like I said, I valued a lot the lack of playing this year. So, if he had played longer, he probably would be. Well, let's be honest. If he played the full season, he probably would be number 1. But still, just a spectacular year with what he did. Now we roll down to number 28, and we roll over to you, Nick, another trade deadline player who had a big impact.
Yeah, I remember when this trade happened, we were all giving the Mariners a really, really tough time because we're like, well, that's their best closer. And he just went to their rival who didn't even need him at the time. But they're like, we'll still trade him away. The Mariners ended up being fine because they ended up being one game out of the playoff race. But Kenley Graven was an absolute machine for the Astros and the Mariners this year, finishing with a 5-1 record, 1.77 ERA. 0.98 whip and 61 strikeouts and 56 innings pitched, 10 saves too. The guy was unbelievable. He was probably one of the more consistent bullpen pitchers all year this year, and he was just an elite 7-8 guy for them.
At number what? Never mind, wrong way. There we go. Number 27, Ryan.
Arguably the hottest name in trade talks before the lockout started, Matt Olson. He had a great year. He really did. He found his rhythm, had a career-high batting average, 271, hit 35-plus homers. He was terrific this year. And teams are going to be in on him like the Yankees. And if Freddy Freeman leaves, the Braves will be in on him. So I think that Matt Olson proved that he is an elite power hitter at the first base position.
And the DH could also play a huge role if that ends up being instituted too, because you could have a bunch of teams throwing their first baseman over to the DH spot, and then they can bring in Matt Olson. So Matt Olson, who knows where he will be. If he's even on this list next year, who knows what team he'll be playing for. Number 6, and who had such a big impact on the Yankees year, and honestly his best season in pinstripes.
Yeah, you said it. His best season in pinstripes. This is the type of player that the Yankees have been looking for since they signed him. Gave that huge contract. Stanton this year was pretty unbelievable. He was so fun to watch towards the end of the season too. I remember that playoff game against Boston where he hit 3 home runs and only one of them counted. Was pretty cool. The one that counted was where he went Oppo Taco. No, he was.
That I predicted. Yes.
Yeah, you really did. We also that's the last home run bet we made money off of, I think. So. Thankfully, for him, he made us a lot of money on home run bets, but he was an absolute machine this year. Him and Judge were just so good together. It was so lethal when they played together because it's just so dangerous for any opposing pitcher to face. But Stanton was just on another planet this year. It was unbelievable.
Absolutely. Now we get to the halfway point in the list. The top 25 were the top relievers in baseball this year.
Emmanuel Leclerc. He had a great year. He is proving to be one of the key pieces from that Kluber trade to the Rangers. And he's, I believe, the closer of the future for Cleveland. I refuse to say Guardians other than that time, so I'm just going to call him Cleveland from now on. And look at the way that he was this year. He was, I believe, a 1.29 ERA. The one thing was his whip was a little bit higher than what you want to see from a reliever, but overall, he was able to get out of jams and he was able to shut down teams. And that's all you need to see from a closer. So Cleveland's got their guy at the back end, and they want to hold on tight to him for a long time. Great season from Emmanuel Leclerc.
Could you imagine if the Rangers never traded him, what that team would look like right now? Oh my God, wow, I couldn't even imagine. Alrighty, number 24, another top reliever in Major League Baseball here with his picture from the All-Star game. I love this picture.
Yeah, no, Liam Hendriks continues to be one of the more dominant closers in all baseball. We've known this since his time in Oakland too, and then when he went to the White Sox, it made that bullpen even better. And then when they got Kimbrel, we were like, all right, what is actually happening right now? But no, Hendriks was unbelievable this year. I'm kind of lacking right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, you've been good with all of them. I've been trying to give enough times that you can whip up the stats.
I was trying to get my segment ready too, and everything just kind of happened at once.
Oh.
Where's this baseball reference? I don't have the exact stats, but he was 8-3 this year with 38 saves, 71 innings pitched, 113 strikeouts from a reliever. That's actually crazy. He's an all-star for a reason too, and he's well deserving of it. The 32-year-old continues to put up unbelievable numbers.
I'm pretty sure I was one that gave him the lowest score. Because
can you tell us what scores we gave him? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I gave him an 89. Nick gave him an 88, and Ryan gave him an 86. So, are there any others you wanted to hear the scores of?
Here's the thing with Liam Hendriks.
I'm just curious to the rest of the players, honestly. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
Here's the thing with Liam Hendriks. Compared to years past, he did not have a good year. His ERA was up, his whip was up, his earned runs was up. He did not have as good of a season as he has had in the past. And I'm not looking at 2020. I'm looking at 2019. So that's why he was a little bit lower on my scale.
I mean, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, he was still great this year, but he wasn't as great as he has been.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, and then I'll say the scores, I guess, because we're now in the top 25. We might as well. We're the top here. So I'll say the scores that we gave before you get the players. So then you also have some time to get the stats up. So number 23, Ryan, this is you, Mr. Colin McHugh, which was the most strange player on the list, but I gave him an 87. Nick gave him an 87, and Ryan gave him an 89. So he managed to find himself in the top. I was shocked. Former Met. This dude debuted with the Mets, and he was awful. And he got traded to the Rays, and he has been spectacular. To the Astros actually, and now he's on the Rays. I mean, it's really funny for me to see because I watched him pitch, and he was just not great when he was with the Mets. And for him to be at number 23, he's higher than Jacob deGrom.
You know what?
This
Maybe
year.
he needed to get away from the Mets. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, he did. Well, that's actually what they said. They said that the Mets weren't
this.
valuing him enough.
Let's talk about this. A sub 1.6 ERA, 6-1 record, under a .94 WHIP. He was incredible this year. And when the Rays got him, I was like, watch out. He could be a good piece in that bullpen and maybe even flex to starting a couple games just on a bullpen day. But he was terrific this year. Sub 1.6. There's not much else you can ask for from a relief pitcher. He was locked down. We talk about how great Kittredge was. Colin McHugh was that much better.
Yeah, completely. By far the most surprising player on the top 50 and I would say the most underrated player on the entire top 50 because the fact that he's at 23, I don't think anyone would have gone for that. Number 22, we have another player from the AL East, and this is Teoscar Hernandez. I gave him an 89. Nick gave him an 87, and Ryan also gave him an 87. So he was bringing in some big-time points. He tied with McHugh and Hendriks, but because he won the tiebreaker with McHugh because I gave him a higher score than I gave McHugh.
Teoscar was unbelievable this year, and I think we really underrated him just because of the seasons that Semien and Vlad had, but you could honestly argue that Teoscar was the second best hitter in that entire lineup based on the numbers. 296 average, 32 bombs, 116 ribbies, 524 slugging. Like, if you're the Blue Jays and you're getting 116 RBIs from your number 3 hitter, arguably in the lineup, like that's, and George Springer I didn't even mention too, like it's pretty scary in terms of what's going on in Toronto right now. But Teoscar was unbelievable this year, and he's a huge part why the Blue Jays were so good. 870 OPS, 524 slugging. Like, he was outstanding. Doesn't even like do it. Like, he was just so underrated, so good, so consistent.
He's going to be one of those players. I mean, the Blue Jays have money to spend, and they're going to lock up some of these guys like Vladdy and Teoscar for long term because Teoscar Hernandez, I think you nailed it, is probably the most underrated player on this entire team. Now we go to number 21, and this was one of our other clean sweeps. This is Nick Castellanos, where we all gave him an 88. So he rang in with an 88. Pretty simple.
What else do you know about Nick Castellanos besides that man can hit the cover off the baseball? He was excellent this year. And you know what? He's dependable as well, despite a lot of injuries that the Reds went through. He did miss a couple games, but he's still dependable. He's still one of the league's best hitters, and any team in the AL would be just ecstatic to get him because they just got a huge upgrade at their DH position because I believe he is a top-tier DH, and I don't think there's an argument against it. He hit, I believe, 39 homers this year, had 100 RBIs, and him declining his option with the Reds is really going to hurt them. It is, because they're losing their best hitter. But if they can get him back, that's huge. If not, some team is just getting a treasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we get into the top 20, and this is where it gets better and better, and I love it. And this one is going to shock some people that he is this high, that's for sure. But this is Robbie Ray, the American League Cy Young, number 20. And again, like I said, it's a fantastic year. I gave him an 84. And you two gave him a 90, so I certainly dragged his score down. The AL starters just weren't up there this year. The relievers were so much better, but because they don't have enough innings, they can't really accumulate a Cy Young vote. But
that's why you got to vote him. That's why you got to give him. You got to value him higher, around a 90 compared to the rest of the AL. That's the way I took it.
He was Cy Young. I don't think a Cy Young can get below an 85 in any season. But he, like, based on the numbers too, like 13-7, 2.84 ERA. Like, I understand the AL pitchers were Mickey Mouse-ish, if you will, this year. Like, weren't as good as they were in years past, but 248 strikeouts, 1.045 WHIP, 193 innings pitched. Like, if the Blue Jays didn't have this man in their rotation, I have no idea what would have happened to their record, because you could argue he was easily the most consistent. He was the best pitcher in the entire AL this year too. Like, he was unbelievable. No one expected him to have the season he had this year, and that's the reason why he's going to get this big payday this offseason. Whatever team gets him is going to be very lucky. Like I said earlier about what did I say about Carlos Rodon too. Like both these pitchers.
The Mariners got him.
Right. Oh my God, he's in the Mariners. Holy cow.
Like I predicted too, which I was so happy about.
Oh my God, yeah, the Mariners are very lucky now. They got their guy. They got one of their aces in that rotation, because he was so good for the Blue Jays last year too. Tigers actually drafted this guy. Perfect. Actually, no.
That's right. Yes, you did. I remember. I saw something on that. We now go to number 19. Another National League reliever. So many relievers on this list. This was the year of the reliever. The starters didn't do it. It was the relievers, because they didn't have all the innings in 2020. They had fairly similar workloads. So for them, this was a similar year. Blake Treinen, I gave him an 88, and you two gave him an 89. So an 88.67 is his score. It gets him at 19.
He had a sub-2 ERA and a sub-1 WHIP. That's all you need to ask for from a reliever. And when it's not your closer, that's how dominant your bullpen can be. The duo of Treinen and Kenley Jansen was probably one of the best, if not the best, in the MLB this entire season. Treinen was terrific as a setup guy. Then you got Jansen, who comes in 38 saves. He has a great ERA, but I think teams are more afraid of that 8th inning when you see Blake Treinen come out to the mound knowing, oh, God, what do we do now? Blake Treinen was arguably one of the best relievers in baseball this entire season.
Well, he let's see. Let me do that. 1, 2. He is the 3rd best reliever in baseball this year, based on our top 50. So he certainly,
as he should.
Yeah, I completely agree. A very, very impressive year for Blake Treinen. Now, number 18, we have another reliever who's also the number 2 reliever in Major League Baseball this year. This is Aaron Loup. I gave him a 90, Nick gave him an 85, and Ryan gave him a 91. So, Nick, if you gave him a higher score, he probably would have been, let's see, if you gave him anything higher, he probably would have been in the top 10, or maybe even the top 15. So, still an incredible year for Aaron Loup.
Yeah, and I might have given him a little bit of low score. That's my bad. I didn't realize the stats he had. Didn't accumulate a loss in 2021, so that's pretty cool. 6-0. Pitched 56 innings, 57 strikeouts, .935 WHIP. He was pretty spectacular.
Read that ERA for me.
That ERA, yeah, .95. That .95 in 56 innings pitched is pretty remarkable.
You know, if anything hurts him, it's the amount of innings that he pitched.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, pitching upwards of like 70 to 80. Oh!
Like I read the innings and I was like, that's kind of low. But I mean, their ERA speaks for itself alone. He should be on this list regardless, because he pitched as well as he could have in the amount of innings he pitched. So he was.
How many games did he have?
Games 65.
Yeah, I was going to say he was one of those guys who would come in and get like one and batter, which is why his innings are low. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
No, yeah, I'm basically done. He was very, very consistent, very good this year. Your best bullpen pitcher by far for the Mets wise.
Oh gosh, not even a question. By the stats, he's the best Mets player in 2021, which isn't shocking to me. That brings us wrong thing. That brings us to number 17, and this is one of my personal favorites, as you all know. Ryan, we will have you do it, but the scores for Austin Riley, I gave him an 89, Nick gave him an 88, and Ryan gave him a 90, which brought him up to an 89, the only player to get an 89, so no tie for Austin Riley.
You know, this guy continues to get better and better, and he was an MVP finalist for a very good reason. What he did this year, especially stepping up when the Braves needed it most, he was fantastic. 30-plus homers, 110-plus RBIs. OPS was terrific. I don't think there's anything else you could have asked more from Austin Riley. I think he finished low in the MVP. I think he should probably finish top 5, not 7th. But 303 average, 132 OPS plus, 107 RBIs, 33 homers, 180 hits. He was terrific this year. There's not much else you can ask if you're the Braves from Austin Riley because he did it all. And he's a huge reason why that offense was able to limit the loss of Ronald Acuna Jr.
Absolutely. He and Freddy Freeman did a lot of weight carrying here. At number 16, we have a man who finished in the top of the MVP voting somehow. I gave him an 88, and both of you
shouldn't have happened. Let's just go with that. Shouldn't have happened.
Shouldn't have, especially by the fact that he is
not
lower
at all.
He's lower than Salvador Perez on our list.
I wonder why, because he wasn't as good.
Yeah. So I gave him an 88, and you two gave him 90s. So 16.
All right. I'm going to come in here and say this. That I 1,000% agree that Salvi should not have been that Salvi should have been an MVP finalist, but I don't think we should give my man Marcus Semien some hate because of the season he just put together. Because
let me say this: this is not hate on Marcus Semien by any means. He had a fantastic season. This isn't a hate on him. This is hate on the MLB writers and the MLB just being stupid.
It's just unfortunate that he has that connotation.
Lapse in judgment there.
Yeah, no, I agree. But Semien this year, I have no words because of the contract he simply signed before the season started. I think it was 1 year, $8 million.
18.
And boy, did he cash out, or did the Blue Jays catch out? Because this man finished the season hitting 265, 45 bombs, 102 ribbies, like 538 slugging percentage. Like he was on another planet this year in terms of hitting home runs. Most by second baseman all time now. Like him, Vladdy, Teoscar were all just such big instrumental parts of that Blue Jays lineup, and Semien was just so good. He shouldn't have finished third in MVP voting, though. Definitely not with that batting average, but unbelievable season nonetheless, and he deserved to get paid by the Rangers.
Yeah, completely. And as a small aside here before we keep going, this week of Ken Rosenthal being fired by MLB Network because of what he said to about Rob Manfred showed me that Ryan will never get a job with MLB Network.
The wrong person got fired.
You know what? That's okay, as long as Manfred's commissioner.
The wrong person got fired.
I am sorry. He should not have been fired because everyone is critical of Rob Manfred, including you two. So neither of you will be getting jobs with MLB Network either.
I don't want to work with MLB Network.
I don't know anymore.
I purposely don't ever say anything about Rob Manfred on the show.
Rob Manfred is
my opinion.
Bro.
Rob Manfred is not a good commissioner. And you know what? Fine. MLB Network, put a flag on my name. I don't care. I don't want to work for you anymore if you're going to curtail what people say when Rob Manfred deserves all the criticism for being a bad commissioner.
Ken Rosenthal literally said what we were all thinking, and he got fired for it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Interesting. It's very interesting. That's
man, it's incredible what some people think. Kudos to Ken Rosenthal, honestly. Kudos to him.
No, he'll be
Ryan, he will. Well, I mean, he's still going to be around. He's just not going to be on the MLB Network. So, alrighty, this is at number 15. We have by far, to me, the most surprising spot on this entire list. I was not expecting this at all. So here we go. Number 15, Ryan. It's very fitting that this is your player.
This is a joke. This is an absolute joke.
I gave him a good
Your
score.
score, Michael, was atrocious. Your score was absolutely atrocious.
His pitching was an 86 and his hitting was an 86. I don't know what you want from me. I gave him an 86. Nick gave him a 90, and you gave him a 92. Look, it's even if I gave him
86,
even if I
6 homers.
He still hit 250. I don't care. Oh, sorry, Siri.
Siri activated on me. I love the batting.
He hit 256. I gave What did I give Marcus Semien? I gave Marcus Semien an 88 because his batting average was 10 points higher, and he had similar home runs and similar RBIs. It's the same thing. So I had to weigh their pitching.
I'm sorry. That's horrible. That's horrible.
And even if let's say I gave him an 89, okay, if I gave him an 89, he would have finished at about 10th or 11th. So it wouldn't have been that much of a difference. So either way, I'm shocked at how low he is on the list.
Yeah, because it's your fault.
Just
in
in general.
This guy should have been top 10. Should have been top 10.
Let's see. If I gave him an 89, would he have been top 10? Let me see. Hold on. Let me do this math here. 89, 90, and 92 divided by 3 is a 90.33. He would have not been in the top 10 regardless if I gave him an 89.
I don't know what to say to you.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
I sincerely don't know what to say to you anymore, Michael.
He did both things pretty remarkably well.
Yeah.
He did,
Yeah, he did. So you're saying a 3.12 ERA?
Well, let's put it this way: the Cy Young had a 2.9 ERA.
Right, and I gave him an 84. I was very consistent with my scores.
My brain hurts.
I was consistent with my scores. You can't say I wasn't. I was very consistent with my scores.
I'm going to argue stupidity. Okay? You were consistently stupid.
Hey, consistency is key. That's all that matters.
Not when you're being stupid.
Not when you're stupid. Yeah. This
No.
guy should not be 15. He was incredible this year.
If I gave him an 89, he would have been an 11.
Let me put it this way: we're gonna get to the top 10, and there's gonna be no DeGrom, no Ohtani.
No, there's not. Which is crazy.
46 homers, 100 RBIs, led the league in triples. Great ERA compared to the rest of the AL. Solid whip, and you had 86. That's just stupid, Michael. 86. He did it all. The MVP, which I cashed in on. Shohei, incredible season. Nick and I have the love for you. Michael doesn't.
We can talk about the stolen bases too.
Yeah. Well, again, I stand by it. I wouldn't raise my score because I stand by
Michael, you stand by a lot of freezing cold takes.
I have to be consistent. At least I don't back off. At least I don't
stupid. You know what? At least I don't back off and be consistent with my criticism of Rob Manfred.
I didn't see that too.
You know what? MLB Network, I'd love to work.
Oh my gosh, Ryan.
But not for as long as Rob Manfred's commissioner, because I could easily get fired after day one.
What? Where did that come from?
You just put his cover letter for him.
Yeah. Your cover letter to MLB Network. I hate Rob Manfred and you. Hire me. Thanks.
No. I don't hate MLB Network. I hate the decision they made. I love MLB Network. I just hate the decision they made. Let's get that clear cut, Michael.
Yes, that is clear cut. Ryan does not hate MLB Network. All right, number 14. We have from the Milwaukee Brewers, Freddy Peralta. Freddy Peralta I gave him a 90, Nick gave him a 90, and Ryan gave him an 89. This Brewers team, we're about to see a lot of Brewers real quick. Just saying. So I think who's Nick's on this one?
You gave Shohei a lower score than Freddy Peralta.
And Freddy Peralta was unbelievable this season.
Well, I mean, Nick gave him the same score, and Ryan overscored Shohei anyway, so it's okay.
You're telling me I overscored Shohei? You're the one that underscored him, buddy.
All right, Nick, go ahead with Freddy Peralta.
All right, Freddy Peralta. I mean, this guy finished the 10-5 record, 2.81 ERA, 144 innings pitched, 195 strikeouts. 195 strikeouts. I'm gonna say it again. God damn, this guy was unbelievable all year this year. Really, his first breakout year in the league. I mean, you could argue he had a pretty good year the year before, but the year he was a little high. This guy really broke out into his own. He's really found his stuff, found his way in the league. Only 25 years old now, and he's going to be a huge part about that Brewers rotation in the next couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. This Brewers team was immaculate this year. At number 13, we have Aaron Judge. I love this picture. This was so great when I found it. Aaron Judge at number 13. I gave him an 89. Nick gave him a 92. And Ryan gave him an 88.
Judge was great this year. Finally played more than 110 games. So that helps. But no, he was great this year. I believe that he was a top 5 MVP candidate, not above Salvador Perez, but I think he had a great year. And I think when you look at it, the Yankees needed him to have this type of year. He and Stanton were terrific. And when it comes to it, he's also a great defender. He really is. He's a complete package. He needs to get his health together, and it proves that he might have done that this year. So future is bright for him. Just need him to stay healthy and keep doing what he's doing. But he had a great year.
You know what else is bright? Those shiny white teeth. No more gap. Gapless Aaron Judge had a fantastic year. All righty, at number 12, we have
There's
another
a gap
Milwaukee
in your
Brewer.
brain, Michael, for thinking that Shohei is not
Damn.
top 10.
That's kind of tough.
He's still going for it.
He's
Number-
this low?
Yeah, he is. Josh Hader at number 12. I gave him a 90. Nick gave him an 88, and you gave him a 93. So yes, he's at number 12.
Honestly, my bad. This guy's pretty dang good. Arguably the best closer in all of baseball this year. I think that I still think about that story that Danny told us about Hader's fastball and just how that's like one of the best pitches that anyone's ever seen, like from a scout standpoint. But this guy finished the 4-2 record, 1.23 ERA in 58 innings pitched, 102 strikeouts in 58 innings pitched. I'm gonna say it again. 102 strikeouts in 58 innings pitched. That's actually absurd. Actually, you guys know
a .835 whip.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Orioles too. I did not know that. But
This man should have easily been top 10. Easily.
Yeah, that's probably
Same with Shohei, but
that's my bad. I gave him a low score, but
you know what, Nick? I can respect your 88 more than I can respect Michael's Shohei for 86.
86, yes.
But yeah, he was superb, best closer in baseball all year, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, and this shows him as the best relief pitcher in all of baseball in 2021. So congratulations to Josh Hader. At number 11, we are continuing along with our. I mean, this top 15 is just spectacular. But Fernando Tatis Jr. had a great year. Injuries hurt him a lot. I gave him the highest score, actually. I gave him a 91.
Plagued him. 282 average. I would like to see a little bit higher from him because we've seen higher from him in the past. But yet he was still able to lead the NL in homers. Was he at 100 RBIs? I can't remember exactly. I think he might have been a little bit short. But no, he had a terrific season. Got to fix his fielding because I did give him a lower grade because his fielding does struggle a lot. And you guys know me, I value fielding, unlike a lot of people. So great year from Fernando Tatis Jr. Better fielding, need more consistent play, and a little bit more average. And this guy is just destined for greatness. And MVP is in his future, for sure, easily.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh, my God.
But not before Juan Soto.
My AirPods keep connecting to my dad's iPad. I'm so confused. So I'm not seeing now. I'm hearing whatever he's playing on his iPad. This is ridiculous. Okay, I think I'm back in business. Now we go into the top 10, and the top 10 is boy, oh boy. My AirPods disconnected again. This is great. The top 10 is so good, and this is the upper tier of Major League Baseball, and we get into it here at number 10 with one of the coolest pictures from one of the things that happened in 2021. Trea Turner and his slide at number 10. I gave him a 90. Nick gave him a 92, and Ryan also gave him a 90. This is Nick. Yes, you're the one doing this. Completely forgot. Oh my gosh, if my AirPods disconnect one more time.
This guy was pretty dang good, man. There's really no way to put it. He probably is arguably one of the more complete players in all baseball outside of like a guy like Shohei, obviously that can pitch too, but talking about a pure just hitter, fielder, runner, anything, this is probably your guy. This guy hit 328, 28 home runs, 77 ribbies, 32 stolen bags, 375 on base percentage, 536 slugging, 911 OPS. He was unbelievably spectacular this entire season. I thought when the Dodgers got him included with Scherzer, I thought it was really a done deal, all wraps, but obviously you gotta play the games, I guess, whatever. But no, he was so good for the Nationals too this year and for the Dodgers, but he continues to be like a 5-tool player, and he's easily one of the more underappreciated players in all of baseball.
Yes, completely agree. After about 7 times of my AirPods just moving to his iPad, I've just given up. Forget the AirPods. They'll have to wait till next week. And well, they won't even get next week because we're not home. So it doesn't matter. They're gone. Throw them. These are my old ones anyway. Throw them out the window. All right, at number 9, we move along to another Milwaukee Brewer. This is Brandon Woodruff. Oh, that's right. I have to give scores. Sorry. At number 9, I gave him a 91. Ryan gave him a 91, and Nick gave him a 92.
Woodruff was fantastic this year. He was starting off like a house on fire, cooled down, ended up having, I believe, a 9-10 record. But overall, still had a terrific ERA, terrific whip. He, Peralta, and then the Cy Young winner, Corbin Burns, the best trio of starting pitching in the MLB this year. And potentially could be for a couple more years. That is how good that trio is.
Well,
And Woodruff was terrific. You know what, Michael? Who's the third? Who's the third?
they're going to get someone after the lockout ends, and then they'll have a third. But for right now, yeah, I completely agree. The Brewers are their trio is incredible.
Right. I'm just going to ignore you. So, looking at it, Woodruff was fantastic. He could have been a Cy Young finalist. That's how good he was. So, great season from him. Expect more from him. The past couple of years, he's been terrific. So, there we go.
And now this, as we get ahead, you're gonna see we have all the Cy Young finalists and some other players mixed in here for the National League Cy Young, which clearly National League starting pitchers were just immaculate this year. This is going to show to me. This showed me who really deserved the National League Cy Young based on our voting and how it went. We did the Cy Young voting, but to me, this was the real true story as to who should have been where. And we'll get there in a bit. But Zach Wheeler gets in at number 8, another guy who was in that Cy Young conversation. I gave him an 89. Nick gave him a 93, and Ryan gave him a 92. For me, the ERA, if the ERA was a little bit lower, he would have cracked into that 90, but still a spectacular season for Zach Wheeler. Such a great one for such a fantastic player that we all saw coming was going to be a spectacular one.
No, Wheeler this year was dynamite, and it kind of makes me wonder what would have happened if the Mets kept him with DeGrom, but that would have been too disgusting to watch. But this guy, the losses, I don't think really are reflective of what he did this year. He had 10 losses, but he had a 2.78 ERA. That can more allude to how bad the Phillies were this year towards the beginning half of the season. 247 strikeouts and 213 innings pitched, 1.008 whip. Like, he was unbelievably spectacular this entire season. Him and Aaron Nola continue to keep it down, that Phillies rotation. And honestly, it was mostly Wheeler the entire season. He was a huge part of why the Phillies were even contending at one point. So, unbelievable season from Wheeler, and just he's going to continue on this for years to come now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I only can dream of what would have been happening if he was still.
You Scherzer and DeGrom now. I don't want to hear the complaining.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, imagine if you had all three. It would have been unbelievable. At number 7, we have Juan Soto, another player in the National League East who was just phenomenal this year. I gave him a 91. You two gave him a 93. And honestly, when you see the rest of the players above him, it's not a shock. It's really not. It is the players above him did definitely get higher scores and deserve higher scores. So you will see that when we get there.
Okay, if Juan Soto did not have the slow start like he did, home run-wise, RBI-wise, throughout the season, he probably would have been the NL MVP and probably arguably the best player on this list. Slow start, terrific in the second half. Nobody has an eye like him. Nobody can get on base like him. He was terrific this year. He's been terrific. He is a future face of baseball, and I believe he is the NL MVP next year. That is how good he is.
All right. Exciting. So you've got NL MVP Juan Soto and AL MVP Javier Baez. I can't wait. It's going to be a great 2022.
What?
I've been saying it since the season ended. Javier Baez is going to win an MVP.
Nick, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that he has to give you false hope like this.
I kind of have to. I don't know.
He's going to be a great player.
He's going to be great, but I don't think MVP.
Those are my really early predictions. Number 6, we have the National League Cy Young Award winner, Corbin Burns from the Milwaukee Brewers. Wrapping up the Brewers, finally. We have all of them packed between 14 and 6. There was Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, and Hader, all within 8 spots. So that just goes to show how good the Brewers were this year. And Nick, this is all yours. Let's see the scores that we gave him. I gave him a 92. You two gave him a 93. That brought him to a 92.33. So he is certainly a force to be reckoned with and won the National League Cy Young this year.
Burns is spectacular in every facet this year. Easily the best Brewers pitcher this year. He obviously came away with the Cy Young this year, well deserving of it. Finished with 11-5 record, 2.43 ERA, 234 strikeouts, and 167 innings pitched, .940 WHIP. Like, are you kidding me? And just like the names we mentioned with the Brewers bullpen, like it's just like Woodruff, Peralta, Burns, Hader. Like it's unbelievable the amount of talent and poise they have in the rotation and the bullpen respectively. But now Burns was by far and by way the best Brewers player the entire season, and you could argue he was probably one of the better players in the entire MLB this year. Obviously, that's why we have him so high. But he had a really unbelievable season that I think is kind of getting overlooked a little bit.
Now we get into the top 5, and this is where the elites of baseball live, the best players of the year from 2021. And we started off at number 5 with Salvador Perez, the number 5 player of 2021. Ryan, it is only fitting that you get this spot.
This is only fitting. And let me tell you this, folks. Salvador Perez 2 years ago needed Tommy John surgery. Comes back in a short season, hits .333. Comes back this year, sets the catcher record for the most home runs in a single season. Hits higher than Marcus Semien. Still a Gold Glove finalist. And was the engine of a Royals offense. This man did it all. What else can you ask from a catcher? Please, enlighten me. Led the league in homers and RBIs. Had 2/3 of the Triple Crown, people. That's how good Salvador Perez was this year. And looking at the Royals, there's very few bright spots. Let's just say it how it is. Salvador Perez is the star. And I said before the season, it was going to be key that the Royals get him an extension. Otherwise, they're going to have to pay or lose him. They give him 5 years, 80. And boy, did not disappoint in his final season of his current contract. Salvador Perez should have been MVP finalist. That's how good he was. And honestly, expect not the same, but a little bit more of the same next year. He is that good. He is the best catcher in baseball. There's no doubt about it.
I agree. I've been tooting his horn since the beginning of the year. I'm happy to say that he ended up being a top 5 player. And now we get into the top 4. And last year, the top 4 consisted of our MVPs and our Cy Youngs last year because they were far and away better than everyone else. And well, this year that is, well, half the case. We have the MVPs in the top 4. But the question is, where are they going to be? But we don't have either of the Cy Youngs in the top 4. So who is going to take up the other 2 spots?
Yeah, we don't have one of the MVPs because of you.
At number 4, he wouldn't have been in the top 5 anyway. Oh, wait, no, I said we have the MVPs, but I forgot that the one MVP is actually not.
Yeah.
All right. So at number 4, we have a man who could have won the National League Cy Young this year. And I'm very surprised that he was this high, but we gave him some serious high scores. We all gave him a 93. So the man who didn't even finish top 3 in the finalists is now at number 4. That is Walker Buehler.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that he's higher than Burns at this point, but I mean, it kind of alludes to the fact that just the type of season Buehler had. I mean, you could argue he was the best Dodgers pitcher throughout the entire season. Obviously, when Scherzer got there, things might have been different, but honestly, you could argue that Buehler was just as good when Scherzer got there, if not better. Buehler finished the year with a 16-4 record, 2.47 ERA, 212 strikeouts, over 207 innings pitched. Like He's been this good for a while now. Like we've known this. Like when he entered the league in the second year, I think we knew that he had superstardom written all over his game, and it's translating pretty well now. He's going into his 6th year now in the league, and he's gonna go in as like a top 3 pitcher in all of baseball. And I think he'll continue that trajectory year in and year out for the next 5 or 6, 7 years. He's just been so dominant for such a short amount of time now that I can't imagine doesn't continue for a majority of his career. So unbelievable talent, unbelievable player.
Top 3. Here we go. Now, first off, before we get into the top 3, I want you guys to tell me I'm pretty sure you know the 3 players. Who are the 3 players in the top 3? And then what are your guesses for who's going to be where?
We still have Harper, Vlad.
It's going to go Harper 3, Scherzer 2, Vladdy 1.
What do you think, Nick?
I'm going to go Scherzer 3, Vladdy 1, Harper 2.
Okay. At number 3, wow, love this. At number 3, the National League MVP, Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper wrapped up 93 from me, 93 from Ryan, and 94 from Nick. That was good enough to get him to third with a 93.67 and a spectacular year from the Phillies right fielder.
He was terrific this year. There's no doubt about it. And when you look at it, that OPS of 1.005 sets him over the top. That's why he won the award over Soto. He also had more homers. He had RBIs. But Bryce Harper, he gets so much hate for being so overrated, not being as good as his contract. He is the reason the Phillies were where they were this year because they lost Rhys Hoskins and JT Realmuto just flopped on the first year of his new contract. Let's just put it how it is. Their pitching was solid too, but offensively, he was the guy. He continued to be that guy. It was a huge reason why the Phillies were in the playoff race for as long as they were. Great season from Harper, no doubt.
Absolutely. At number 2, once we say number 2, we all know who number 1 is. So there's no question. At number 2, we have from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Max
Cash money.
Scherzer. What did you say?
Cash money. I had the predictions right.
Yes, you did. You nailed that. Well, and Nick did too, to be fair. But a 94 from me, a 93
Even
from
Nick
Nick.
shook his head that he didn't.
Yeah, and a 95 from you, Ryan. You gave him the highest score out of all of us, and it only I can't. I just can't. I'm sorry. Nick, go ahead. At number 2, Max Scherzer.
Yeah. This guy was pretty good this year.
Should have won the Cy Young, sorry.
No, that's
Should have won the Cy Young, and that will be his last good year because he's going to the Mets.
It's just so unbelievably insane. He didn't win the Cy Young. I don't know how he didn't. Just maybe playing for 2 teams just makes sure that you don't win the Cy Young or any award. But it is what it is. He knows he deserves it. He already has 3 of them anyway. He might win 4 next year. Or who knows? Maybe his teammate will win a Cy Young next year too. We don't know. But anyways, we'll go back to this year. He finished 15-4 with a 2.46 ERA, 236 strikeouts, and 179 innings pitched. Are you kidding me? 236 strikeouts and 171 innings pitched, 0.864 WHIP. Like, he was just unbelievably dominant. I've seen it for years now. You know, it's just so unfair that he's a Met now with Jacob deGrom. It's just unbelievable. That's unbelievable. And like the longevity part of his career too. Like, he's been able to pitch like 20, 30 games this entire career, like consistently. And like, he's just a machine at this point, and he's generational. Just unbelievable. I have no words to describe this man anymore. No words.
I do. 3. Let's go Mets.
Just wait. Just wait till his arm gives out.
It's
just wait.
Ryan,
I don't want it to happen because I want him to be good. Because I'm a huge Mets
to
fan.
fail.
I want him to be good, but I also want the Mets to suck.
Vlad.
All right. Yes. Number 1. There's no question. We don't even need to. Oops, sorry. I screwed it up. Give me a sec. Hold on.
Yeah, we know.
Wait, I screwed it up. Hold on. Sorry.
It's fine, Michael.
Okay, whatever. There's the card. It's right there. I did my best at trying to. Of course, I screwed up on the very last one. Either way, there's Vladdy. There is the best player in baseball in 2021. I love that picture. This card is the best out of all of them, and it's number 1. It's perfect. There's a reason why I'm wearing this shirt today, because of course it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I very rarely wear shirts that don't have a meaning to the show. This one, certainly I had to have the meaning, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr., we'll all talk about him because he's number 1.
This man was so close to the Triple Crown at one point. Had the homers, he tied with Perez. Nearly had the average, and just fell short on RBIs. He was terrific this year. We all expected a big leap from him this year, but nothing like this. And here's the thing. It would not shock me if he does the same thing next year. He's going to do exactly what he did. He's just getting started, and that's the scary thing. Because with losing Semien, guys like Guerrero, Hernandez, Bichette are going to have to make up for that loss offensively. I think Guerrero's going to hit 50 bombs next year. I sincerely think that. And I am excited to see what he does. So I think he's also winning MVP next year. Spoiler, there you already know my 2 MVP picks.
Nice. All right, Nick.
I love this man with all my heart. I want to give him a big hug and just say thank you for making baseball so enjoyable. I had him in fantasy this year, and he was outstanding. The stats itself, like I looked at the stats just now, and I just almost had to gasp. 311 batting average, 48 home runs, 111 RBIs. That's not even where I'm like gasping yet. 401 on base percentage, 601 slugging. 601. Are you kidding me? 1.002 OPS, like, and any other year he's MVP, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, it hurts. It actually kind of hurts looking at these stats that he was an MVP, but he's amazing. I love him so much. He's one of my top favorite players in baseball right now, and he's going to continue to be just because of how good he is, bro.
The Blue Jays are they're set. They're set for a while, and that goes without saying. So that'll do it. Top 50 of 2021, and that gets rid of 2021 for us. And I must say, I was looking back at this. I mean, Vladdy had a 97 overall rating, and Max Scherzer at a 94. He obliterated the competition. I mean, absolutely just murdered it. This was so not even a question. And I was kind of expecting Vladdy to get it, but I was intrigued to see what you guys scored Ohtani because I thought there was a chance that he could get up there, but you guys scored him lower than I thought, which is why he ended up where he is. And don't even say it, Ryan. But you know, I'm surprised that how
Curtailing
low
my speech now? Okay,
No.
government.
No. I'm surprised how low the scores were this year. But that just goes to show you people were not really fully ready for a 162 game season, other than these select few that I'd say in the top 15 that really just stood above the rest. We were also a little bit more critical on our judging this year than we were last year because we were giving guys like 99s and 100s, and I was like, that's not going to happen this year. But I mean, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had the closest thing to a perfect season you can have. And like Nick said, it's almost impossible for him to not win the MVP, but he didn't because of Shohei and what he did this year. So that'll do it for the top 50.
I feel like he should have been higher than 15.
That'll do it for our top 50. And that brings us over to Nick. We have Nick's segment today, and he is bringing the heat for his second edition of his segment for the offseason. I'm so excited.
Second edition, we go to second base. You know how we do. And yeah, you guys ready?
Yes, sir. I'm stoked.
All right, let me read out these stats, and you guys will get to guessing. Honestly, I feel like we're going to get to the point where I might have done these players like once or twice already, like from like a previous segment. But I mean, I would doubt you memorize these people's stats anyway. So we'll get it started right here. This man, pretty iconic player from our early years watching baseball, at least for me. There's 3-time All-Star, 1-time Silver Slugger, 241 batting average, 235 home runs, 706 RBIs, 336 on base percentage, 447 slugging. He played for 4 different teams and spent the majority of his career in the NL East. Yes.
When did he retire? Did he retire or is he still playing?
He retired in 2015.
Dan Uggla?
Yep.
I love Dan Uggla.
I love Dan Uggla.
I love Dan Uggla too. I watched him a lot. He was such a batting stance. What a batting stance.
For real. All right, Ryan will take that one. Next guy here, this guy's a one-time All-Star. 246 batting average, 161 home runs, 474 RBIs, 344 on base percentage, 420 slugging. He spent a majority of his career with one team, but played for 4 different teams. He retired in 2017.
Neil Walker?
No.
How many? Can you read the stats off again? Sorry.
Yeah. 246 batting average, 161 home runs, 474 RBIs, 132 stolen bases, 420 slugging percentage, 344 on base.
Ricky Weeks?
Yep.
Wait,
What?
seriously?
How? What?
That's the only one I can really think of. Because I heard 4 teams, played most of his career with one team.
Yeah.
Wow, Ricky Weeks, man. Didn't he
Oh,
play for the
got it.
Orioles?
I just closed his
It's
stats.
okay. It's fine.
Okay, next guy here. One-time Silver Slugger, 267 batting average, 149 home runs, 609 RBIs, 426 slugging percentage, 338 on base percentage. He played for 6 different teams, but he played a majority of his career with one team.
I'm taking Michael's guess. Neil
Yeah.
Walker.
Yeah, it's no Walker.
Wow.
Because Neil Walker was going to be my first guess last time. And then I was like, hey.
Damn it.
All right.
I needed to get Neil Walker, and I didn't. Can you give us when they retire, if they're still playing, please? Because
Yeah,
my brain is like not functioning when I'm trying to
My bad.
think of like, oh my god, is he from 1950 or today?
Yeah, these are gonna be all players like relatively from like our viewing years. This guy played from 2001 to 2014. Played for 2 different teams, but he spent the majority of his career with one team. He hit 276, 97 home runs, 542 RBIs, 409 slugging percentage, 347 on base percentage, 2-time All-Star.
Julio Lugo?
No.
Damn. That'd be a good one. Didn't Julio Lugo just die?
I have no idea.
Didn't
Mark Gredzalonic. Just threw a guess out there.
Oh no.
I was gonna
He
say.
played in that time frame too. So.
Swear to God, I think Julio Lugo actually did just die.
Willie Bloomquist, the Arizona State head coach.
No, he played past then. Yeah, Julio Lugo did die. Wow, that's rip.
What
Orlando-
division did he mainly play in?
Sorry?
What division did he mainly play in?
Oh, AL East.
Oh, never mind. No.
You said his final year was 2014.
2014, yeah.
Was he on an AL East team that year?
Yes.
It's not JJ. No, it's JJ Hardy.
No.
He was a shortstop.
He's a shortstop, but I was going to say maybe.
I'm going to take the second baseman that I think it was, though, Brian Roberts.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot about Brian Roberts. That's why I would have had him if I remembered him at all.
All right. Next guy here. This guy played from 2006 to 2020. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One-time All-Star. He won a World Series. 294 batting average. 127 RBI. 120. No. 127 home
Play
runs.
this past year, buddy.
724 RBIs. 430 slugging percentage. 337 on base.
Daniel Murphy.
He played for 4 different teams.
Did he win a World Series recently?
He just said that.
Kinda, yeah.
Like in the past, 5 years?
Yes.
Dustin Pedroia.
No.
Oh! Was he also versatile? Could play
Yeah.
other positions? Oh! The Dodger killer, Howie Kendrick!
Yes. Yeah.
Forgot about Howie Kendrick because he was a first baseman at the end of his career.
That's what threw me off of him at first. I was like, then I was like, wait, hold on.
All right. This is probably one of my favorites. This guy was a 3-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover, 1-time Silver Slugger. He played from 2002 to 2018.
Okay.
275 batting average, 211 home runs, 951 RBIs, 420 slugging percentage, 320 on base percentage. He played for 5 different teams, but he mostly played for one team his whole career.
Okay, I had a guess, and then that 5 teams is throwing me off. Shoot.
Eric Ibar.
No.
That's actually not a bad guess, though.
No, he never hit 200 home runs. The second baseman hit 200 home runs. That's definitely
Played
up
to
there.
2018?
Sorry?
2018, you said?
Yeah.
I'm going to say my original guess, but I don't remember if he played for 5+ teams. This is one of my favorite baseball players ever just because of his swag. Brandon Phillips?
Yep.
Really? Wow.
Loved Brandon Phillips.
He was awesome.
Loved him.
I forgot about him too. I'm like forgetting all these players.
Cincinnati Reds legend right there.
Yeah, he was.
He was outstanding. All right, next guy here. 1-time All-Star, won a World Series in 2019. He was a Gold Glover.
Brian Dozier.
Yep.
You gave it away with the won a World Series in 2019.
Yeah, I know. I know that. That's my
And
bad.
it's like, oh,
Finally, Michael got one.
Okay.
Only took him 2 tries and almost being shut out twice.
when
It's
All right,
a little,
this guy.
you know what? Every blind squirrel's going to get a nut at some point.
yes. Mm-hmm.
4-time All-Star, won a World Series, 2-time Gold Glover, hit 269, nice, 257 home runs, 909 RBIs, 440 slugging percentage, 337 on base percentage.
Michael
He played-
Young.
He played from 2006 to 2019. He played for 5 different teams.
I'm going to say this. My fellow Jew, Ian Kinsler.
Yes.
My fellow Jew. I also forgot about Ian Kinsler. I'm forgetting all these players. Wow, what is happening?
Okay, I have to now do more. I have to just give me like 2 seconds. You guys can talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Ryan, how's your New Year?
What?
How was your New Year?
It was good. I was in Arizona.
I heard
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, great.
I was going to ask him how his was. Okay.
It was great.
Oh, sorry. How was your New Year's, Michael?
It was great. Quiet, but great.
Nick, how was yours?
It was great. Quiet, but great. Anyways, this guy was not quiet. He is a 4-time Silver Slugger, 5-time All-Star, even won an MVP, hit 290, 377 home runs, 1,518 RBIs, 500 slugging percentage, 356 on base. He played from 92 to 2008. He played for 6 different teams.
Did I ever hear those stats again? Did I hear 335 homers?
Mm-hmm.
290 batting average, 377 home runs, 1,518 RBIs, 500 slugging percentage. That's
Dude.
absurd.
Wow. This is a second baseman?
Well, it says he plays second, third, and first, but second baseman's listed first. So, okay.
Jeez.
It's one of the best second basemen of all time, and we're struggling.
Yeah, he played from 92 to 2008.
That's
Where do you how many teams again?
Like, I think it was 5 or 6.
yeah, you said 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
6, okay. Michael, no cheating.
My phone's over here. I'm just looking at my arm.
Oh, because you got the answers on your arm?
Yeah, here, right there.
Yeah.
They're an invisible ink. Um, wow. Oh, wait. It's no, it's not. Never mind. I was gonna say it's Michael Young, but he played in the 2012.
You want Michael Young so bad.
I really do want Michael Young so bad.
Give
Let's
us
see.
another hint.
Yeah.
Okay. This guy. I have no idea what other hint I would give you.
What division did he play in? Primarily.
I guess NL West. Yeah, he spent 10 years in the NL West. He also played for the Mets. I will just point that out there.
That's actually pretty funny because I was thinking of.
Jeff Kent?
Yes.
Wait,
Jeff
really?
Kent. Yes.
Interesting.
Let's go.
Sick.
Oh, right.
I heard Mets. I was like, wait, I'm going for it.
I was thinking of someone completely different. But I knew he didn't have the home runs, so I was really lost.
316 pull up this guy's stats.
We'll do two more because I'm getting starving.
Oh, Michael, are you hungry, sweetie?
Yeah, I haven't eaten since breakfast, and yeah, I haven't eaten since like 8 o'clock.
I haven't eaten since yesterday.
Yes. This guy. No accolades, but shout out to him. He hit 262, 105 home runs, 550 RBIs, 384 slugging. He played from 2002 to 2014. He played for 4 different teams.
So,
Alberto Callaspo.
No, honestly, not terrible.
106 homers.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a guess, but he's still. My guess was, but he was still playing, but he doesn't really play second base. Never mind.
One of our teams drafted this guy.
One of our teams drafted this guy. Oh God, hundreds. So it's one of.
Doesn't mean that he played on that team either necessarily.
No, he didn't play for any of our teams. He just got drafted by one of ours.
No, I have a guess, but he played third base. Never mind. I was gonna guess Trevor Plouffe.
No, yeah, and he retired after anyway.
When did he retire? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
2014.
2014. Scott Harrison? Wait, I don't think he was drafted by any of our teams.
No, it'd be Jerry Hairston, if anything. Scott Hairston was an outfielder.
He also played second, though, I thought.
No, he played maybe for like 2 years, but he ended his career as an outfielder, and he played on the Mets.
Still counts, Michael.
I don't know if he ever did. To be fair, I just remember him as an outfielder. Well, Jerry Hairston Jr. No.
No accolades, but hit 147 homers.
No, 104.
Yeah.
104?
105.
Yeah.
105. Okay. We were both.
Jose Tabata? No. Okay.
What did you just say?
Jose Tabata?
Tabata.
No, it's Tabata. I for some reason he's been in my head all day. He and Neil Walker. I was thinking of Pirates second basemen for some reason. What division did he play?
I'm trying to think of guys the Royals drafted. That's where I'm going at. I'm going Royals first.
I don't.
He played in the AL West.
Okay. Guys the Royals drafted.
Eric Ibar. It's not Eric Ibar.
Wait. The Royals drafted Mark Ellis. Is that him?
Yes.
Mark Ellis.
For a second, I thought he hit more than 105 homers, but I was like, that's the only one I could come back to on the Royals. So I was like, why not?
Interesting. All right. Well, we got Uno Mas.
Uno Mas. This guy, 7-time All-Star, Gold Glover, even won a batting title. He played from 2000 to 2013. He hit 300, 185 home runs, 1,030 RBIs, 346 on-base percentage, 411 slugging. He played for 3 different teams.
Michael Young?
Yep.
Yes! Finally!
Hey, you know what? All I gotta say,
Oh,
Dubs.
Dubs.
give me that Michael Young. Finally. Oh my goodness. I have been
We got the dub.
waiting for Michael Young all day. Finally here. That's all I care about.
Michael is 0-3 on all segments. No, wait, did you win my segment last week?
No, I
Like a
didn't.
week ago?
No, Nick won it in the last one, remember?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
is 0-3 on segments. Can we have him winless, Nick? That's my goal. Do you think we can do it?
I think we can do it.
Let's do it.
Who knows? We'll see. We've got plenty of off-season left, and with the way the lockout's going, we might have plenty more of off-season left. So who knows? But that'll do it for today's show. Top 50 players of 2021. This is the last time we're going to be probably last time we're going to be remote until the summer. I always forget the word remote, so thank you. Next week, I don't know. I'm hoping we'll have a guest. I'm hoping we're going to finally have our guest, but I have to email them again.
Does his name start with a G?
You've already given it away twice on the show. I'm not doing it again.
Oh,
Gary-
that doesn't give
Gary
away
Sheffield-
anything.
Gary Sheffield will not be on the show, guys.
Yeah, gosh, goodness gracious. We are not having Gerardo Parra on the show. Stop.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Giancarlo
I
Stanton.
tried.
It's okay.
I give up with you two.
It's not
Not
Gary.
you, Nick, just
Sheffield.
you, Michael.
We will be trying to have a guest on next week. My goal is to have a guest on every week going forward. But now that we finished our off-season content, our required off-season content. So a round of applause for us. From the end of the season to now, we've gotten all of it done. It is done. So now it's just fun time for the rest of the off-season, doing games and custom rosters and things like that. It's going to be much more laid back, not much thinking going into it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it'll be a lot more fun. And also, we've got, like I said, hopefully some great guests that'll bring some other really great content. So I'm looking forward to that. But thank you all for watching. Again, congratulations. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the #1 player of the year from 2021, but it's not 2022. There will be a new #1 player. Well, who knows? There will be someone as the #1 player at the end of 2022.
Javier Baez.
Yeah, right, Javier Baez. But we'll find out. He'll whoever it is, they'll be a very lucky player to be crowned by running the bases. They'll be yeah, that's a big accolade. So, thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys all next week, and we are